What is up, gamers? Staxwell's back at it again today with another market watch. We have a lot to talk about, a lot to get into. Flesh and Blood is kind of on sale right now, so it's a good time to stock up. A lot of cards are way too cheap, I think. Some stuff has gone up from the recent Battle Hardened and things like that. But yeah, a whole lot to talk about, so I don't want to waste any more time. Let's just jump straight into it. Widespread Ruin and a bunch of other Vinset cards have gotten bought. We'll say bought out, but you know, the price is definitely going up. Widespread Ruin was like $2 a week ago. Now it's up to like $6. Kind of interesting. Mischievous Meeps, cheapest on the market, is like $6, and the cheapest Rainbow Foil on the market is like $10. This one hasn't moved a ton, but everyone's talking about this card. Everyone's playing this card. Everyone's trying to make this card work. It seems to be a fan favorite, so it's probably only a matter of time until a deck is found out to be very, very good with this. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Everything's playing this. I even seen an Emperor deck tech playing this card. So yeah, anyone who can is trying to play it. Down and Dirty, cheapest on the market, is $25. That's so crazy. Cheapest Rainbow Foil on the market, $32, $33. I guess people are just real afraid of Dromai. Understandably so. It is a very powerful deck. And with Nationals coming up, I think everyone's just kind of trying to round out their sideboard now. Gilmore of the Haunt, this is another one on the back of the Vinset win. The Colt Foil is at $19. It was like $12 to $15 not long ago, so a little jump here. I think it's a very beautiful card as well. Frostex, cheapest Colt Foil is only $8. I haven't looked at this card in a while. We haven't talked about it for a while on the channel. It's been probably a month or two, but I remember this card being like $15-20. So to see it fall this low, like I said, Flesh and Blood is on sale. It is time. Dread Cryptic, I don't know. You guys are going to crucify me for the pronunciation here. But the cheapest on the market is like $9, $10. This is a long way from the $2 it was a few weeks ago. Again, this is all on the back of Vinset. Same with Vexing Quillhand. Cheapest Cold Foil on the market is $20. Light of Soul, this one's kind of going under the radar. It's only $70 for the cheapest Rainbow Foil. Kind of crazy. The cheapest Cold Foil is only $190. I don't know that this card will be bad forever. It is currently bad, but I think that is more of a product of Bolton and Prism not being very competitive. I could see a world in which Prism needs the Heralds to get into her soul so she could activate her effect. So I could see a world in which Prism starts to play this card. And I don't even think it's particularly bad at Bolton either. So the Rainbow Foil for $70, I think it's a good pickup. I think it's going to be probably played and probably good one day. Revel in Runeblood, another Vinset card here. Cheapest on the market is $15. Cheapest Rainbow Foil on the market is $20. Very good card. Pretty sure every Runeblade Forever is going to play that. So if you don't have it and you like the Runeblade class, I mean, it's going to be a while till it gets any cheaper. Cheapest Teklo Foundry Heart. We talked about this last week, and it was just totally crazy. It was at like $130 or something. It's back down to earth. It's at $92, which is a lot more reasonable. So if you're hyped for the new Mechanologist stuff, maybe now's the time. Arcanite Skullcap. Cheapest Rainbow Foil on the market is $44, $45, something like that. This is a card that a lot of people aren't really thinking about because Crown of Provenance is out, so why would anyone ever get Skullcap? But there's a lot of cards or a lot of heroes in the game that have the unique ability of starting with like 32 health or 36 health, like Prism and Icelander. And Arcanite Skullcap is only turned on when your health is lower, obviously. So these heroes always tend to side Skullcap. Like if you look at a lot of lists, they're siding Skullcap and not Crown of Provenance. So if you don't have a Skullcap, I think there is some niche scenarios in which you might need one. So pretty good price if you do need one. I do think Crown of Provenance is a better card overall, but there is definitely a non-zero amount of decks that use Skullcap, and a lot of people don't have it just because they would prefer to buy a Crown of Provenance, which again is totally understandable, but if you still need this card, it's on sale. Next card I want to talk about is Enlightened Strike. I don't think I've ever seen this card this cheap since I've started playing Flesh and Blood. $20.56 is the cheapest one on the market. Cheapest Rainbow Foil is about $120 here. $360 does sound like a lot for a playset of the foil, but I think it is one of the most beautiful Rainbow Foils in the game, and arguably one of the most iconic cards in the game, one of the most playable cards in the game. So I definitely think it's worth the price tag. I think this is one of those cards that will stand the test of time. E-Strike will probably get reprinted a bunch of times, but it'll never be reprinted black border rainbow foil, I imagine. So I think this is a good one. I think it's going to be a playable card and a collectible card and a beautiful card for years to come. Skullbone Crosswrap is only $33. So cheap. This card was like 100 earlier this year, right before Outsiders. So to see it fall this far, like Azalea isn't the most competitive deck at this exact moment, but I mean, she's also not a bad deck. She's like an A tier hero. She's totally fine. And for $33, I think it's a fantastic pickup. And this is for the OG black border. Just, out of curiosity, I'm just kind of curious. What is the white border for this card worth? The white border is actually more. Don't buy that. Definitely buy the black border. Moving on, Scabskin Leathers is only $33. A lot of people thought that we were going to the Savage Lands in the next set, so when we found out we were going to the Mechanologist place, what's it called, Matrix or something, this kind of surprised a lot of us. Again, we all thought we were going to Savage Lands and getting Brute support, so maybe that's why people are offloading this. But just because we're not going to the Savage Lands now, that doesn't mean we never will, right? So $33 for Scabskin Leathers, I think, is cheap. Not only because we will go to the Savage Lands one day, but also like Levia plays it, Brute currently plays it, Reinhardt currently plays it, right? It's not like he's a terrible hero or anything. He's still totally fine. He'll still win you armories. I think it's a good pickup. Spellbound Creepers, still crazy. It's like $165 for the cheapest rainbow. Cheapest cold is like $175, $180. This is probably holding or going up because of like we talked about earlier, the Vinset win. Crown of Providence, cheapest rainbow foil on the market is $100. Cheapest cold foil on the market is still $300. So this just goes to show that, no matter how much they reprint these cards, having the highest rarity will always be the most sought after item, right? That's why I tell you invest in the rainbow foil E-Strikes, especially with these generic cards. You just want the highest rarity of them. That's going to be able to, maintain your investment the most of all these cards. So yeah, I just want to bring this up kind of to highlight what I was talking about with Enlightened Strike. Flamescale Furnace is only $64. Again, I think this is the cheapest it's been since I started playing. Cheapest cold foil on the market is $130. Kind of insane, but Dromai still plays it. Dromai is a very popular hero. 5 plays it, less popular, but still two heroes play it. Completely different playstyles, completely different heroes play this card, so the price is warranted there. Starstruck is still $11 for the cheapest non-foil. Cheapest foil is about $20. People really like Bravo, so it totally makes sense. Black Tech Whispers is on super sale right now. $46 for the cheapest rainbow. That's so insane to me. I don't get it. Do people just not like Assassin? Like, what is happening? Cheapest cold foil is like $100. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked out my guide to Uzuri video, check it out. Maybe listening to someone who's passionate about the hero talk about it will kind of inspire you to want to build it. But yeah, I think this is like stupidly cheap, criminally cheap. Swing Big has come back down to earth. If you guys remember, a couple weeks ago we were talking about this card. It was like $30 for the cheapest non-foil. Cheapest non-foil now is like $16 after shipping. Cheapest rainbow foil is like $22, $23, $24. So this has definitely come back to earth. I think it's because Levia isn't as good as we all initially thought she would be. But it's good to see that the card's affordable again. Spectral Shield cold foil. This comes from the prize wall at some of the bigger events. I just bring this up to show, like, if you have one of these big events near you, you don't have to be the best or the most competitive player. If you just show up, grind out a few of these side events, you don't even have to win the side events. Like, you get tickets for every win you get in the side events. You don't have to win the whole side event. So if you're going like 2-2 at all these side events, you're still getting tickets, and then you could cash in all of these tickets to buy something like a Spectral Shield token and, make a couple $100 just playing Flesh and Blood for the weekend. If you have one of these big callings or something near you, and you don't want to go just because you're not the most competitive player, these side events make it so worth it because of things like the Spectral Shield token, the gold token as well. I don't have it pulled up here, but that one's like $250, again, on the prize wall. Totally worth showing up. I just highlight this to kind of inspire people to go. This is how I got into Flesh and Blood. I went to the calling in Vegas, the Uprising, like team event, like the sneak peek for Uprising. I was like, all right, I'll go check it out. I kind of play a little bit of Flesh and Blood. And I just grinded out side events. I was totally new player, but I was good enough to kind of hold my own. And then I'm sure you guys have seen it in the back of my room, the giant Icelander card. I was able to win that with my prize tickets, and I've been totally hooked on the game ever since. So if you're on the fence about going to one of these callings or nationals or something like that, I highly, highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun, and you'll be walking away with something cool like a Cold Full Spectral Shield or a giant Icelander card or something like that. Next card I want to talk about is Coronet Peak. I think it's pretty undisputable at this point that Icelander is the best deck. It won the 2 Battle Hardens immediately following the new set. It won the Calling that followed the Battle Hardens, and it won the PTI event this last weekend. Icelander has won every tournament that has mattered since this new set has dropped. And the headpiece is only $15 for the rainbow foil, and for the cold foil, it is only $30. It makes absolutely no sense to me how some people will like just FOMO into certain heroes and stay away from other heroes completely. And I think it's Ice. I think like casual players or tabletop gamers, they're just not a big fan of Ice. Because we've seen this with Oldhim as well. Oldhim's cards never went super crazy. But even Crown of Seeds. Crown of Seeds is like not even legal in any... I mean, it is legal, but it's not played at all in any format. And yet it's still more expensive than Coronet Peak. I will never understand this because Tales of Aria was just as opened as Uprising was. So I can't really explain this price differential. If you guys can, please let me know in the comments. But $15 for the legendary headpiece of the best hero in the game seems like a great pickup to me. I don't know, am I crazy? Sink Below, this is another one of those generic staples. Every deck plays it. Cheapest rainbow full on the market's $15, and there's like, I don't know, maybe like 10 on the market total, and they're totally gonna be gone. So if you don't have a playset of this, you are definitely running out of time. Fate Foreseen is another one. Cheapest rainbow full on the market is like $12. Again, generic, great card, used in a lot of decks here. There's only like 10 of these on the market, and 3 of them are $40. So I just kind of highlight these to show some of the more expensive examples of the generic foils disappearing. Others I'm sure are soon to follow. Think Snatch, Scar for Scar, Wounded Bull, any generic staple, Art of War, Tunic, any generic rainbow foil staple should definitely be looked at and considered as an investment, right? Don't get the new foils that are coming out in the new sets. Those just aren't going to hold as much value. They aren't going to be as enticing as these older generic cards that are going to be played in every deck forever until they power creep Sink Below, right? Which, yeah, who knows how many years off that is if they ever do. I kind of halfway doubt they ever will. Vinset, the young one. I think people maybe forgot that this card existed. Maybe it's because it doesn't have a picture on TCG Player. I have no idea. This is the young one that you got from winning... Oh man, what was it? It was the pre-release event. The pre-release event. The Prism is like $200 and the Vinset was only $40. But Vinset just won the last Blitz Battle Hardened, so it totally makes sense that this should be going up, and it hasn't. I think, again, this is because people maybe just aren't fully aware of its existence. Maybe a lot of people who are buying the cards are like kitchen table gamers, and they just aren't aware of things like this. So I think it's a good pickup, especially if Vinset continues to show success on the competitive field. Oh yeah, here's a gold token. I was talking about it earlier. This just kind of goes into what we were saying about the Spectral Shield token. Okay, next card I want to talk about is Boneyard Marauder, the alternate art from Team Covenant. Years ago when Monarch first came out, if you bought a box with Team Covenant, you got a Boneyard Marauder red. In this sick art, Rainbow Foil is only $16. Every Levia plays this card. I think it's just way too cheap, honestly. Beautiful card, collectible card, old card. You're not getting it anymore. I think it's too cheap. I personally bought a playset. Erase Face. For those who don't know, Erase Face was like the original. This is the new Command and Conquer card. This card used to be like $20 when it first came out, $25. So now to see it at $2 is kind of crazy. I think this card is very just like format dependent, right? Lose all class and talent types until the end of the turn. Of course, that's going to severely cripple some heroes and do absolutely nothing to other heroes. So the ebb and flow of the meta will kind of bring Erase Face in and out, especially in decks like Uzuri that could cheat out these 2-for-6s. I think it's probably smart to have your pickup now while we're out of the Erase Face format. So when we go back into it and people start citing it, the price will go up and you'll already have your playset, right? The Cold Foil Arachne, the Adult Arachne, this was a promo for winning armories back when Dynasty came out. Arachne, terrible hero. Horrible. Probably the worst hero in the game. One of the worst heroes in the game. But, I think his name is Brian Gottlieb? I'm not sure. One of the developers for LSS hopped on the podcast with Hayden Dale, and they talked about Arsenal Pass. They hopped on Arsenal Pass and they talked about Arachne. I guess he developed Arachne, and he literally confirmed that Arachne is going to get future support, and they're going to be re-looking at the hero. So I'm sure Arachne's going to have his day. He's going to get better, and when he has his day and he gets better, I'm sure the Cold Foil is going to be a sought-after item. An adult Cold Foil for $20, you just don't see them this cheap. Like, it just doesn't exist anywhere else. So I think it's a good pickup. Silver Palms, cheapest I ever seen it, $22. Yeah, Merchant's going to be good one day, PvE, all of that. We all know why Silver Palms is a good pickup. We've talked about it 100 times on the channel. I'm just pointing out that it's the cheapest I've ever seen it. Iris of Reality, this card is $5. Yo, this one is actually insane. You guys know I don't go over the top with the hype at all normally, typically, but $5 for the Team Covenant Iris of Reality promo, this one's way too cheap. Even if you have no plans on playing Prism, get this one, slap it in the binder, and wait for it to be worth 20 again, because that's just insane. That's so cheap. Last fantastic pickup I want to talk about in the video is the Patron. You know I have to shield the Patron every now and then. We don't have any sponsors or anything like that. Look, you guys get early access to content. It's just the best investment I've talked about in the whole video. So check it out in the description below. Early access to content. You don't want to miss it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, rate, subscribe, and help the algorithm help me out a little bit. Thank you, gamers.